Tai Chi?
Yeah.
You know the old ancient Chinese form, they move very slowly. It's a form of self-defense, but it's so slow that you wouldn't think you can use it to fight. I learned this when I was studying in Singapore. I need to have some exercise. So I went to a community center, and they said there's a Tai Chi class starting. So I enrolled in it. Took me a few months to actually learn the whole set. Every week you only learn 2 moves. This is the beginning move. Okay? This is the following one. Only 2 moves like that. And then of course there are many other things like kick. Well, Tai Chi is actually a very nice exercise. You don't need anyone to play with. I can do it anywhere in the world. As long as I have about, this amount of space. From here to here and to here. That's good enough for me to have a good exercise. And you don't need any tools either. I have other hobbies I have invested heavily in tools, some very expensive. But in Tai Chi you don't need, you just need to have, well of course you need to learn it, that's the most difficult part. You need to be patient enough to connect all those moves to make it into a whole sequence. My whole sequence takes about 12 minutes, and I repeat it, 15 minutes. And I repeat it over 3-4 times. So each time I do my Tai Chi, it's about 45 minutes. That's the first thing I do when I wake up. I don't even talk to my wife. So when I wake up, she leave me alone to do my Tai Chi first. And it's a beautiful thing to start the whole day with. Because you need a strong mind, a strong body if your work is very demanding. So I've been doing it for the last, without stop. Every day I would do it without stop. And it's been 45 years. It looks like I will do it for the next 45 years if I live that long. Because I'm so used to it now. First thing I got up is, Tai Chi before they speak to anyone. It's a beautiful exercise. And it's also a form of self-defense. You can actually use it to fight if you're good enough. You're very good in avoiding. It's so soft and gentle. You're good in avoiding the opponent and counter-attack back. If you have a chance, okay, maybe one day you will learn it from your teacher. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
I think Philip did a fantastic job. Thank you so much, Philip, for sharing your passion. So let's do a little thing where we try to guess what we think Philip's purpose of the speech is. So what do you think out of 4 purposes, which one is this? Persuasive?
Yeah, I want to learn Tai Chi from him.
Well, the easiest way to know what's the correct answer, because I don't know either, is to ask Philip. Philip, what was the purpose of your speech, you think?
Actually, it's to inform. Just to let you know that I have this hobby. But she said I'm entertaining, I'm flattered, I'm flattered. I thought I was boring.
I'm persuaded.
What did you say?
He's persuaded.
Oh, persuaded.
To try Tai Chi.
My purpose is to inform, to let you know that I have this hobby and it's a good hobby.
Yeah. The way you can tell what a speech is basically by going through the whole speech, not by how you feel by the end when he says, like, maybe I can teach you, and you feel persuaded, or you are so, you love his enthusiasm for Tai Chi so much that you feel inspired to do that. You don't look at a speech like that. You look at it as in what he is saying and how he's saying it. So he's been going through saying that I do this every morning. That's a fact. I I start by doing these moves. That's also a fact. So these are things he's informing us, and that's how you know it's an informative speech. As a speaker, you want to make sure that how you are, whatever you're saying and whatever your intention is, by the end of the speech, if the audience guesses it right, that means you're doing something right. And if they didn't guess it correctly, that means that you didn't follow what you were trying to do close enough for them to guess correctly. So I think with Philip, I love the elements of entertainment you have in your speech, but I think you are a naturally charismatic and entertaining speaker. I think that's one of your greatest strengths. For your speech, I loved how you were so passionate and you went through the motions and you were very dynamic with the way you showed us. It really did make us feel like we loved it and we want to learn with you, learn from you. So I think whatever you decided to do with that speech, I think you did achieve that when you wanted to share your passion with us. I think if there's any room of improvement I can give you, it's that to be clear with the way you structured it, I think. Because like I think you can tell by the many different answers that people couldn't tell where you were going with. I think if you were going to inform, maybe have a clearer structure and try not to go off on the tangent, I think, because that confused people a bit. But other than that, I think majority of your speech, you did achieve your objective. So congratulations and good job on that. Thank you. Charles, do you have anything to add to this?
No, I think it was wonderfully done. Philip is so charismatic. His movements with his hands I thought was very, very nice. Usually when you evaluate something or someone, you kind of I mentally do the shoe method. I think of a shoe. What you see, what you hear, an opportunity to improve, and what can you say that's encouraging. I thought the reason we weren't sure if it was persuasive or informative, is he started off by saying, well, it's good for exercise and you can use it for self-defense. So that's kind of leading towards persuasive. But then he tells you the story about when he first started, and that becomes informative. So he kind of did blend the two, and I think Ling is correct. He could have been a bit more clearer on which side he wanted. Did he want to persuade us in terms of the benefits? So he mentioned you can use it for fighting, but he doesn't actually go into specifics. So that's why it's not fundamentally persuasive. However, he had it in his speech, and that is something we remember. And so we're like, oh, he's trying to persuade us maybe, giving us these benefits, but he's actually just giving us information. And maybe he could have shifted it around by starting off when he first started and established that story, so we know he's not actually trying to persuade, but it was masterful.
On that point, Charles, I really appreciate that because I think you make it very clear. But would it be possible to be also informative and persuasive at the same time, like with a hybrid purpose? Neither, it's not very clear whether he was being very persuasive about it. He didn't make extra effort to do it. But the fact that because it's Philip speaking and he's been very healthy perhaps, and he's maybe we know that he's a healthcare professional as well, he's a dentist. So those kind of things actually influence us when we look at the speech, when we hear the speech.
Yes.
So I think it does have some, it plays a role, like who's authority and who's speaking. So those kind of things come into play when audience listen to it. So to me, it has somehow influenced me to say, try to do it. It's not expensive. Yeah, you can just use this mouse pad and you can do it. But he wasn't strong enough. Yeah, I mean, so I see it as informative.
Philip was incredibly funny as well.
Yeah.
So for me, there's an element of being humorous, so entertaining. It's all comes back to when Meng asked Philip, what was your main objective? What was his main objective before doing the speech? Was it to inform or to persuade? And did he himself feel he did that? And just based on that, because it was mixed responses from your audience, there is something that he could change to fit that. Yeah. But otherwise, most naturally speeches are a little bit of each. But you have to decide before, as Ling was saying, what do you want to do with your audience? Do you want to inform them or persuade them? And if it's persuade, then go guns blazing. How am I going to persuade them? If it's inform, then go guns blazing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it does send a mixed message.
Thank you. Well said, Charles. It's sort of like when you know why you're there, you go in 100%. Instead of being, I don't know whether I'm here or I'm there. So if you go all in on a certain objective, then at least you know you've done all you can to achieve it, rather than leaving it out there for people to interpret. You want to be sure that and clear to the audience what you want him to do. And I think with regards to Philip, I think he had a lot of things going on, so people were sort of all entertained, all persuaded, and also informed. But with regards to his actual purpose, maybe he could do a little bit more on that to make it more informative. So I think that's on Philip. So that's something I think Philip can take back for his future speeches. So thank you very much, Philip. Enjoy your speech. See, that wasn't so bad, right? You come out here for 2 to 3 minutes, you get like a full-on analysis of your speech. Isn't that cool? Isn't that something you want? You get your money's worth. You pay $5. Some of you didn't even eat anything, so you need to get your money's worth. At least go back home with some feedback. I'll leave you guys to think about that. I see someone raise their hand. Kirsty, you want to go next? Is it?
Sure.
Yeah, Kirsty. Kirsty, everyone, floor is yours.
So usually when we adopt a dog, it's maybe for our loneliness, we want a dog to cuddle, we want them to take care of our house. But for my grandmother, I asked her one question because we recently adopted a dog. His name is Salt. And then I was like, why do you want a new dog? And she told me this thing, to chase monkeys. And I was like, why? Because let me show you the cute dog. This is Salt. Salt is so cute. We bath him, we feed him every day, we can play tricks with him, we run with him. He's so cute. How can you chase monkeys? Until one day, I was exercising, just doing my job, and we have lots of fruit trees around our house. We have like durian tree, rambutan tree, bananas, papayas. We have so many, and there's lots of monkeys around us, like little monkeys carrying little babies everywhere. And monkeys make a specific noise. It's like, ow, ow, ow. And we know that, and then they would steal our fruits. And my grandmother wanted that. My grandma's like, fruits are for money, and we need to give the fruits because we sell the fruits. So at that time, the monkeys come, and I was just minding my business until I hear my grandmother was like, monkey! And then there's a distant, woo! There goes my son running toward the monkey and chasing them. And he successfully chased the monkey. It was very astonishing when I saw it. But yeah, as what my grandmother said, work smarter, not harder. If I can't chase the monkey, tell the dog to chase the monkey. So that is it. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you very much, Kirsty. What a story. I think dogs are so precious. My grandma has one as well. Her name is Tim. I asked my grandma, why did you name a female dog Tim? And she was like, no, her full name is Yakin because I found her in the pasar. So there you go. Anecdote aside, I think I'll leave this to Charles to start off the evaluation. Charles, do you have any feedback for it?
Kirsty is always very animated, and I do enjoy that about your presentations. Is the dog's name Salt?
Yeah, salt.
Salt?
Table salt.
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 Ah, salt. Okay, salt of the earth. I thought it was very nice that you actually showed us the picture, and you're very animated. So usually if someone is animated, it does blend itself towards entertainment. So that is my first, I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I'm assuming you went for entertainment as your, yeah. So usually if someone is more animated and you can see it in their delivery, obviously they're going to go for entertainment. Something that we have spoken about before is you get so animated, you speak very quickly. And I think for me is the opportunity of improvement has always been your pacing, and we've spoken about it before. So I think your story, you get so worked up. I liked it when you're going, he's so cute, and you can feel the enthusiasm. And I think Ling was talking about credibility as being something of a hallmark of a good speaker. I think it was very credible that you have this little dog, Salt, and you love him to bits, even though it's a bit weird that he's supposed to chase monkeys and you wanted to see it in real life. And that credibility shines through. So I really enjoyed the speech. I thought it was funny, and if you have credibility and your delivery, it's entertaining. And in fact, even though you were speaking quickly and I didn't hear some of it, I still was laughing and I thought it was funny. And that's the power of delivery sometimes, is even though you might lose an audience in terms of content, you deliver so well, or you're so animated, you can get away with it. So at Toastmasters, a lot of us go, oh, why do we need to be, to borrow a Gen Z thing, I think the word is extra. Why do you need to be extra? You need to be extra because sometimes it helps to deliver your speech and it gets your point across, even though your content might not be as strong or fantastic. And that little being extra gets your point across, even though your audience might not need it. So I really enjoyed it. I would like to meet Sok in person. I like this. Okay, yeah, let's.
Thank you, sir. I'm gonna add on to Charles because entertaining speeches is my favorite sport, and it's also my bread and butter. So there's a lot to be said about entertaining speeches, and I think you did a fantastic job in getting through that story. And there were a couple of highlights in that story as well that grabbed the audience's attention and gave you a lot of opportunities to engage with the audience. I think if you can permit me, I can give you a couple of tips to help you become an even better entertaining speaker. Rule number one when it comes to humor speeches is never laugh at your own jokes. Like this. Don't do it, because the moment you do that, your credibility does fall a bit, because you want to make sure that you use that moment to engage with the audience and gauge their responses to you. Are they enjoying it? Are they laughing? If they're not, you might need to tweak, because then you have a better understanding of what kind of humor does the audience enjoy, and then you move on from that. And again, as Charles said, when you're entertaining someone, you really do need to pause at opportune moments, because when you pause, you let people absorb. If you tell a joke and you don't pause and you move on, people don't know that they're supposed to laugh at it. It's one of those things like, when you're watching Friends on TV and there's a laugh track. When you hear the laugh track, you know, I'm supposed to laugh. Similarly, in a speech, if there's a pause, I know that I'm supposed to react. So you need to give the audience opportunity to react when it comes to an entertaining speech. Yeah. So for people to use next time you tell a joke, even in the middle of a report, you tell the joke, you go, and see, I'm not even doing anything, but you're supposed to laugh. See, that's the trick. You need to cue people. People are nice. People want to help you. People are like, oh, she wants me to laugh. I'll laugh for her now. Thank you. That was very nice of you. But yeah, that's a trick for anyone. So if you don't believe me, you try it next time. I guarantee you, people will laugh. People will be like, at least. All right. So try that out next time, Christy. I look forward to more entertaining speeches. Well done. Thank you. I now open the floor to anyone who wants to. I thought you didn't want to. I thought you had something tomorrow.
Either a 3-minute speech or a 20-minute workshop.
Oh.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
What I do is I've been an educator for about 10 years, and one of the things that I have done is that I lead a group of interns, and one of the biggest challenges that they have is to get a job, to go for that interview, to pass that interview. And here's what I found in my years of experience is that you usually have one of the two, and a few very lucky ones will have both. One is the natural ability to succeed in interviews, the interview skills, or the natural ability to date. And funnily enough, the skills actually overlap. So, if you find yourself easily passing interviews but not so well in your dating life, perhaps you could use that skill in your dating life. And if you're really great at changing partners, relationships, right? You find yourself not having any difficulty to get a date, but having that challenge of landing that job interview, you could use that dating skills in the job interview. Some of you are very interested now. All right, let me explain. Number one, usually it's the ladies who do this very, very well. If you're interested in a guy, what would you do first? You would check his socials, you would find everything that you can on the internet. Let me ask you this. How many do you think, before going to their job interview, Google that job? Google the company? Probably not. See? As for your resume, that is your love letter to the company. Do you think receiving a love letter that says, "Dear all the guys in the world," or "Dear all the girls in the world," do you feel special?
To whom it may
Probably
concern.
not. So if your resume goes, "Dear hiring manager," or "To whom it may concern," it's probably not very flattering. They might be desperate enough to read and hire you, but chances are they're probably not interested either. One of the worst advice that anyone could give you when attending that date or interview is be yourself. No. This is myself. I don't come like this to that interview. I don't come like this to dates. This is for a future relationship. When you first meet them, you want to present your best version of yourself, which means dress the part. You want to be a boyfriend or girlfriend, make sure you wear boyfriend-girlfriend material. If you want the job, make sure you dress the part for that job. And when it comes to the date, you do not want to go to a movie, because then you won't be finding out who you're dating, who you are going to hire in that company. Because a date is an interview. You want to know more about them. And it's all about the questions that you ask. And if you're great at dating, in the interview, ask questions as well. It's not just them wanting a relationship with you, you want a relationship with them as well. So ask them questions. It's not just them asking you. They have to answer you as well. Why are you single? Why is this position open? So, all in all, coming back to the speech, date your interviews and interview your dates. Thank you, everyone.
I think 4 or 3 minute speech, I mean, where did you get that from? Is it already in the notebook? Is it you write already?
No.
Upcoming workshop.
It's from the dates and interviews that I made.
A man of experience, I see. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. I mean, you had everything. You had turns of phrases. You had structure. You know, I think this is a very interesting brand of infotainment. I mean, it's very clear that it's an entertaining speech, but at the same time, you had little nuggets in there which make people go like, "Oh yeah, that's so true, and I should take note." So I really enjoyed that. I mean, there's something to learn about you, and also for the people you date. So I think you do have a natural talent for these sort of speeches. You know, the dry humor, the deadpan delivery. I think that's definitely your shtick. Right? If there's anything I can give you to improve, I don't know yet. I let Charles say something, then I come back to you. Charles.
Excellent advice. In terms of the speech itself, this is like what Heidi was mentioning, the blurring of the categories. Because Alan is so good, he's very entertaining. And you'll notice he used what Ling was talking about, the pauses. When he mentioned the second option of to date, he paused a little and he said, "Are you interested?" And then at the end, when he was mentioning something, Ling was like, and then he pauses and he lets it sink in. So that is that power of the pause, especially if you want to land a joke. For me, because he's trying to convince me to approach job opportunities like a date. Even though he had humorous elements, he was very entertaining, he was very informative because he started off with his years of experience. I do feel it leans more towards persuasive speech in terms of changing my behavior or our behaviors when we go to a job interview. So for me, I feel it falls in that category. You can see Adlan uses the stage well, his voice is very clear. I don't really actually have anything to say. To me, it was a perfect speech. There were no flaws in language. You had an excellent structure when you're talking about your different steps that you could take. If you can all remember them, what was the first one?
Research your
Spy on them on social media, Google them. Second one?
Love letter.
Love letter. Third one?
Don't be yourself.
Don't be yourself. And then the third one?
Yeah, ask questions.
Take them to a movie. Yeah, ask questions.
No, not movie.
I mean, no movie. So it's kind of weird because he's giving you dating tips and he's giving you interview advice, but they seem to work. It's kind of an analogy, using one thing to propel another. And masterfully done. Technically I have no flaws. It's excellent.
I think it's difficult because we hardly hear speeches of this caliber, especially for something that was supposed to be written in 15 minutes. But I will say, I will give you some maybe tips you can add on for next time. And I hardly comment on body language, but I feel like this speech has everything. The only thing I can comment on is body language. And I feel that if you want to do an entertaining speech, a lot of times when it comes to funny speeches, your body does the talking for you. So things like cueing people to laugh at you when you make a funny face, and of course when you are doing telling a bombastic story, your demeanor also has to be bombastic. Waving your hands around, using the stage fully, definitely, because I feel like it was a little bit contained here. Looking at the audience, pointing and staring directly at their face, engaging with people personally, really working the floor. That's what gets people to build that rapport with you and start to laugh at your jokes. Because if people don't feel comfortable with you, if you're closed in, they're less likely to laugh or smile at you. So little things like that really does help with gaining people's confidence. So something to think about for the future. But in any case, that's the only thing I can say because it was pretty complete. It was written very nicely. Good job, really good job. Thank you. Any more volunteers? Yeah, people keep volunteering left and right. Oh, Pavitra, volunteer. Maybe one more after the picture.
Good evening, everybody. So the topic I've chosen today is traveling. I think for all of us as a child, we've thought going to malls or temples or shopping felt like traveling for us. It's like, oh, it's a big travel. We spent the whole evening. So I think with age and by getting to know others and by seeing different things, our perspective changes and we want to try different things and new things as well. So in the journey of trying new things, I must say we learn, we explore, we are happy, we set new targets and new goals for ourselves. And most of the time in this process, we are not that stressful. I think with age, when we are working, we get really stressed and traveling is become like a place where we can be very stress-free environment. It creates a stress-free environment. Sometimes when we're traveling with people, and because of peer pressure, I should say traveling also puts us some pressure. One such situation I would like to say which I experienced. So I went for a travel and with peer pressure I was put like, you have to try scuba diving. We all are trying and you must try. So in the process, I said yes, okay, I'll travel. I will try scuba diving. For I am a person who is very nervous to even get into a pool. So scuba diving is like I can't even imagine. So I motivated myself, and also with the encouragement of my friends and my husband, I said yes, I try. I went to the instruction place where they give instruction. I suddenly felt like, okay, I think I'm becoming deaf. I can't hear the instructions because I was so nervous. Finally, I tried, and I must say, after trying, you get a different perspective. And I cannot explain how happy I was to come out of my comfort zone, I should say. So, with this, I would say, everybody, you must travel and you must explore new things to experience life to its fullest. We have very limited time, so please, whenever you get an opportunity, travel, and so that by that you will experience your life to its fullest. Last, to this crowd, I would like to say, the world is a book. Those who do not travel see only one page or get to read only one page. Yeah, thank you.
Pavitra, that was fantastic. Thank you for sharing your little journey, and wow, scuba diving. Well, you did go through with it and everything.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, congrats. Can I ask everyone in the room, what do you think the purpose of that speech was? Informative, persuasive, inspirational, or entertaining?
Inspire.
Close enough, close enough. It is a persuasive speech, but the thing about it is inspirational speeches is basically an elevated persuasive speech. So I think the fact that people are saying inspirational, it means that you did a really good job. So congratulations. And yes, it is a persuasive speech, is it?
Yes.
Lovely, lovely. Thank you so much, Pavitra. You did it great. Your elements that you put together, from the building of the story, you know, telling us about the setting, how you feel, the little joke in the end to break the ice with us, as well as the really strong call to action, the ending, you know, the inspirational quote and getting us to get up, you know, move, travel, learn more, do more, see more. I think that was really effective in getting us persuaded to travel, and it was a really good job. Something you could try next time perhaps is, because it's a persuasive speech, yeah, to not just leave all the persuasive elements to the end. You want to try and sort of like disperse it throughout the speech, so people can tell from the beginning that it's supposed to be a persuasive speech. So from the beginning, you could probably put something like, give hints like, I saw so many things, my world, my horizon was expanded, and then and then you go on and you can tell like, I would have never known this existed if I didn't try, if I didn't put myself out there. And then you keep going, and then by the end, when you come up with it, then people will be like, yes, it was interconnected. You know, you mentioned it right at the beginning. People knew that it was going in that direction. So it's sort of like leaving breadcrumbs, like a trail, so that people can really feel that ending instead of telling us a story and then, oh, this is the ending. So that's something you can try next time. And this goes to any speech. If you are clear of your purpose, don't leave it to the end to say it. Always give little hints at the beginning, the middle, the end. That's why whenever people give speeches, they always tell you to structure it, like tell them what you're going to say it for what you said. It's so that people aren't left wondering or guessing, you know, what are they talking about? What am I supposed to learn? What am I supposed to do with this information? Sometimes it's very obvious, but a good speaker makes it subtle enough that you know where it's going without actually saying where it's going. And that's a skill you have to practice and learn. And that's what we try to do here. Charles, you have something to say?
I think you said most of it. Yeah, I really enjoyed the story. When she was telling the story about going for the scuba diving, the idea of that credibility comes through. Because when you were saying, oh, I was going deaf, I thought that was such a brilliant line because of the nervousness. So when you got into that story, I felt your speech came alive. Whereas before, you were kind of starting the engine of a cold car and you're like, leading there, and then you get to that moment. And as Ling was saying, maybe it's those crumbs of getting to that moment because it kind of seemed a little bit, in the beginning you spoke about as a child, you like to try new things. So you're getting there, but you're not actually talking about your scuba experience that changed you and made you feel different. And I feel that if that is such a powerful moment, you want to build up to it. So as Ling mentions, when we have speeches and we have a pivotal moment in our speech, we want to build up to that. Otherwise it just comes as a surprise, or you wonder why it's there, and so you're not sure about the purpose. And your purpose is definitely clear in the second half of your speech. And the fact that you had a quote in your speech for something that you just wrote in such a short amount of time, I'm like, jeepers, I can't even remember my first name. I can remember a quote. So I thought that was wonderful. Very, very excellent in terms of content. You came alive when you were talking about that story, when you were talking about going deaf. And I just feel if you just shifted a little bit to the center, it would have been a little bit stronger. But obviously nervous and things, so maybe. But the half of the scuba diving, I was totally into it. I thought that was wonderful.
Thank you so much, Charles. We've almost reached the end. We've only got 10 more minutes to 9:30. I want to make sure everyone goes back on time. So just one last speaker before we close it, and our president takes the floor for his closing remarks. Yeah, you should take the floor. It's your thing. You're the president.
Okay.
So the rest of you, one last speaker. It'd be great if a guest can try it. Would you like to give it a shot? Yes, please.
Fatin.
Fin.
Fatin.
Yes. The floor is yours. All the best. Thank you so much for trying.
Hello everyone. So today I will talk about my interest, which is travel. Me and Pavitra share the same interest, traveling. Okay. So I love traveling because it taught me so many things, such as how to calculate risks and always be cautious. Okay. So here is a short story. Last year, me and my friend went to Kuala Lumpur. We were traveling on budget. We booked a room for $8 per night. So anyone can guess what happened when we were in Kuala Lumpur?
It wasn't available?
Yeah, we got robbed.
Oh!
We were robbed while we were asleep. I lost my phone, my wallet, as well as my passport.
What?
So we cried for a few minutes, but then we realized that we have to act fast. We have to act faster than the thieves, than the robbers. So first step, what we did was we called our friends, because I didn't want to call my parents. They would be panic more than we did. The second one is we called the police. And then the third step is we went to the police station. And thankfully, my iPhone was still active. So we were able to trace my phone through iCloud. So I got my things back, except for the most important thing, the passport. Okay. So my point here is, no matter how much you want to be on a budget, so remember to always prioritize safety. That's all.
There's no price for security. That is a wonderful, wonderful lesson to be learned. Like I really like Kamang Guru Sejok, you know, like not because I sit in front of the airport. You know, it's just, I'm so sorry that happened to you. I mean, your passport of all things going missing, but I'm glad you managed to get some things back. That was how riveted I am in your speech, the fact that my whole transition was just about your speech. So I think it's quite clear to me that it was meant to be an entertaining speech with a very chilling conclusion. And I think that you do have such a knack for storytelling. I wish that story was untrue, but the fact that it was true just added so much credibility to it. You put together that story and told us with such seriousness and such pain in your eyes. And I liked how you were nervous at first, you were here, but then as you slowly went through, you gained strength and you gained courage, and you even had a couple of movements. You would go 1, 2, 3, 4. Your voice became louder and clearer, and when you got to the ending message, you were so strong with conviction. You were trying to tell us, please be careful. Safety has to be number one. No, but don't sacrifice your money for safety, basically. And I thought that you brought together the story so well. Something maybe you could try out next time is, I think, take a few breaths before you come on stage, shake it off. I think the fact that it took a while for you, like what Charles said with the car, to wind yourself up. A lot of speakers, it happens to the best of us, but what you want to try for every speech that you try to do is just to visualize yourself doing it and get yourself in the mindset way before you go on stage. So when you're up here, you're already at peak performance, you're already at your best, instead of waiting for the stage for you to warm up and get to it. So it's all about visualization, planning ahead, knowing exactly what you're saying or why you're saying it, and being very clear what you want to do up here. So once you have that and you're in the right mindset, then you're always here 100% ready to perform or present. And that's what being a speaker is about, You want people to buy into your story right at the start rather than wait for them to slowly buy in when you get to the point. You want them to be with you 100% of the speech, not only at the last 30 seconds. So I think that's my advice for you, Fatih, but overall, great job. And I see the hallmark of a great storyteller in you. Thank you so much. Charles, over to you.
Sure. You were mentioning laying the seeds, and I thought you were very good in doing that. You first mentioned you calculate risk when you travel, and then you mentioned I went to KL on $8. And in my mind, I'm like, risk $8, something happened. Mm-hmm. And then you said, guess what? And you paused, and you allowed people to guess, and then you were like, okay, you were robbed. So like a suspense thriller, you built it up, and you're like, we're robbed. And I thought that was fantastic. Your reaction to being robbed, I found, was very calm. That's probably what I didn't understand. It's like, we were robbed. I was asleep. I cried for a few minutes. And that was it. So you're very calm, very logical about it. Maybe that's just your personality. But like you build it up to a climax. Okay, we're robbed. We're expecting something dramatic. And it's like, I cried. And then I moved on. And maybe that's just your logical personality. I like that you said I acted fast and you had 3 steps. So you're structurally, I don't know if you've done speeches before, but you are very clear on your structure. Like these are 3 things: the friends, the police, and the station. And at the end as well, you're like, guess what? I didn't get back. And everyone was like, passport. And you paused. And I thought that was fantastic. So you're using question and pause. And so you're very good at doing that. Something that maybe is a bit towards the end, I know you were saying prioritize safety because it links with your first point on risk. And that's also something that people who are experienced speakers try to link to the top, into the conclusion. And I thought that was very well done. But for me, it was more like I should have an iPhone so I can track my stuff, as opposed to worrying about risk, because there wasn't really calculating risk involved in your tale. It was more like, I got something for $8, I'm going there, and I got robbed. But luckily I had an iPhone. So I don't know if it was about risk or more about, I definitely need to get an iPhone, I don't want my phone anymore. So I thought, just in terms of that, very nice pauses, and in terms of laying the seeds to a very, very dramatic scene, which wasn't really dramatic, but it was wonderfully told. You had me, I'm like, what's going on? So, excellent.
And that wraps the end, except for Adina, who has a question.
I have a question for Charles. Are
Yes.
you persuaded to buy an iPhone?
Yes, I sort of am, because I have a MacBook, and I want them to talk to each other. That's your needs.
All right, thank you so much. Guys, for those of you not on iPhone yet, that's a strong point to consider. I mean, Apple should definitely hire Fatin for this one. Thank you very much, and that was a fantastic ending for the workshop of the night. I hope everyone learned a little something. And I'll now pass the floor to the President for his closing remarks before we call it a night. President, over to you. Let's give him a clap, everyone.
Usually we'll have feedback from the guests and the members, and we try to get everyone, but there's just too many people. So I'll just get volunteers. Any guests and or members who would like to provide their feedback, how the meeting went, how the workshop went. Oh, okay. Yes, good. I didn't see you there.
When I came in the room, I was late, and Heidi said I just came in time for conclusion. And I actually enjoyed the conclusion bit. I thought everything was also very inspiring. So many things I've learned, even just in a short, 30 minutes. But I enjoyed it. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
So since we have one member, so at least one guest. Yes. Macam somehow semua orang next time. Sorry, would you like to share anything?
Story from my
Okay, thank you, thank you. Feedback, just for your information, in the next 2 weeks, I think we'll have another meeting at the Brunei Speakers Club, so you can enjoy more stories. In fact, that's probably one of the reasons I like to go to Brunei Speakers Club, is to get inspiration, to copy. I mean, to get inspired. So you're welcome to come again. So next up is I might as well ask, since there's 2 clubs here, any other business that you want to share with the tutors here? Yes.
I think Heidi mentioned earlier on that Brunei Advanced Speakers Club is going to have our meeting on the 16th of August. So we will be in a new venue, which is the Design and Technology Building at Anggrek Desa. So that's where you can find there. So we will be meeting at 7:30 on Friday, and we will have a workshop, which is on advanced techniques by Jason.
What kind of advanced techniques?
Beyond Basics, Advanced Tactics for Impactful Workshop. So if you are looking to deliver workshops, then Jason, our member, will be delivering that speech or workshop. And we also have 2 speakers, which will be delivering an icebreaker and level 1 project 2. It will be Heidi and Dr. Sofiana. So if you're looking to come and join us, you can just come, or you can contact us via IG, which is basc.bn.
Is there a guest fee?
For first-time guests, there's no fee, but there will be a fee when you attend it the second time. Thank you, Lily.
Thank you.
See you.
Double checking, considering this is a workshop meeting, we'll still accept fees, right?
Yeah.
So you can just check this time. So the other meeting, yes, first time can be here, but today you can hand over the payment later, I think, to Charles. Okay, Charles later.
First time guests free if you've been before. $5 for adults and $3 for students. Only if you've been. First time free.
So including this meeting?
This is the first time, yeah. If you've
So inclusive. Because last time.
Oh no, if you've been to a previous meeting,
Ah.
then that counts as your first meeting.
Okay.
I think so.
So
Really?
generous.
I don't know. You president, you can call it.
So Rosanna recommended since it's a workshop.
First meeting.
So regardless, first time they still have to pay.
Okay, so it's not.
Rosanna recommended that. So sorry lah kalau yang expecting. Ada. You aware? No. Okay. So we already have the BSC. Others, anything that you'd like to share? From
Okay,
others?
just a quick one. So Otters next meeting will be next Wednesday.
Not tomorrow. Next.
Yeah, next Wednesday. So it's just a regular meeting. We have one speech lined up. So if you happen to be in Syria, Penaga, do drop by Penaga Club. Our meeting is from 7:30 to 9:30. If you need more information, you can approach either three of us, or just give us a text on our IG. It's Otters TMC. Other than that, I think what I got out of tonight would be, being in Toastmasters for 6 years, it's always good to revisit the basics, because I learned probably more than 3 things tonight. So that's a lot for someone who's been here for quite a while. And I think basics are the foundation to a really proficient communicator and leader. So that's something I was reflecting on. Thank you.
Thank you. My closing remarks. I'll just copy paste from you. I totally agree. In fact, I was a bit inspired, so I'm actually still preparing for my talk tomorrow, which is a 1-hour speech on motivating students on starting a business. So based on the basic principles of the general purpose and the specific purpose, I've actually added a bit more, defined a bit more on my content. So it's always good to cover basics. Even in my swimming coaching, I swim coaching as well. It's very important. Even the professionals focus on the basics of the basic arm techniques and the kick techniques. So in life, I like to practice that as well. Always go back to basics. So I hope everyone had entertaining and informative night. And I hope to see you in the next meetings, whether it's at BSC or BSC or at office. Until then, have a good evening.
Yay.
How far are we behind time? Are we 35? No, 39. Oh no! Oh no!
Okay, group photo.